We're back with ancient wisdom because we're dumber than ever. We need it. Elections coming up. I hope you guys are taking it easy. Hope you guys are comfortable with the death of all mankind and time itself. But we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. Today's episode 66 of Ancient Wisdom. And I got a fun tale for you. Another ancient Aesop tale, repurposed to fit the ancient wisdom sort of theme for today, which is going to be chapter 7 of the Gita, Wisdom and Knowledge.
Damn.
Once upon a time, there was a body roaming through the world. A disembodied body. Don't think about it too much. And these arms were getting tired of constantly getting food. The mouth was getting tired of chewing. The legs were getting tired of walking. And this lazy, good-for-nothing communist stomach just takes the fruits of everyone's labor. The worst. So one day, the union had a strike. The legs didn't walk. The arms didn't reach. And the mouth didn't chew. But eventually, they began to grow weak. They didn't know why. Until it finally hit them. Oh my God. The stomach is doing his part. He is nourishing us all. So they learned a valuable lesson that they all need each other to survive. And that's kind of the theme of today's show, I think. It's going to be wisdom, knowledge, the interconnectedness of everything and how it all works. So we're going to learn a lot. Today's going to be chapter 7 of the Bhagavad Gita. I always say it weird. We're in chapter 7 now, guys. We're like halfway through the Gita. The Gita. Today is Jnana Vijnana Yoga.
Damn.
Just take my word for it, y'all. Just take my word for it. I'm sure that's exactly how it's pronounced.
Can't wait to hear what part of life this yoga is for.
Oh, you ain't ready for this. It's full, jam-packed, full of ancient wisdom, so you're in the right place. Rest easy. Krishna says that he will finally make things clear. Oh, finally, Krishna? After all this time, you're going to be clear to me?
We'll
you're going to tell me?
That.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll fucking see.
I'll believe it.
Yeah,
See it.
Seriously. So he goes on. This is interesting, I will say. It seems like another theme to keep in mind. Earth, water, fire, air. The last airbender. Isn't that how this starts?
Something like that.
Ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So you got those 4 elements. You got the last airbender elements. And then you got ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego or ego. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated material energies. This is Krishna talking. This is Sri Bhagavan talking, giving wisdom to Arjuna, passing it down. Wow! What do you guys think of that right off the bat?
Oh, the 4 spiritual elements as opposed to the
That's a good way of seeing it.
Elements.
That there's physical and then the sort of non-material.
I was almost I was grasping to try to find more physical ones. Before you said the spiritual ones.
Yeah, if you follow Naruto at all, earth and water can combine to make mud. For example. And then, if you combine 2 powers, you could have that sort of thing.
Mind and heart combined to make spirit.
Yeah, right? And then these are just like the base elements, and then everything sort of comes from that.
And I think fire and mud would make some kind of clay.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And they say man was made from clay.
There it is. Y'all are just
Could be
clay.
true.
Could be true.
You break down, you get these elements, I think, based on... like humans will have earth, wind, fire, water, but what if there's like a really wet planet where there's no fire, right? Maybe life there has earth, wind, water,
Poop.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, earth, wind, water, lightning. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
But then lightning is just fire and air.
Oh, what?
So they say.
No, it's lightning.
But one that really sticks out to me is false ego as an element. Huh? That's the strangest one, is it not? Does that not stick out to you?
It's
Earth,
there,
air,
but it's
water.
false.
A false element?
Well, it's an element. You got to confuse it, everyone. It's a real element.
The thumbnail to this
called
video was a false element? What?
Whoa.
Question mark?
A new periodic table.
False elements?
So it's like ego, sometimes translated as false ego, because the ego is false. It's just who we think we are. Almost, this is saying, is no different from earth and water. It's an element that makes up the universe. But we'll continue on. Just let that resonate. Let that sink in a little bit.
Ego itself is an element.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So, but those things are just my inferior energies. Oh,
Whoa.
the superior energy is living entities utilizing those forces. Wow. So this is a lot to capture even right off the two. The utilization of those energies are the superior energies of God. The doing, the being.
Combining them with an acting agent.
Yes, well put. I think so. And I think that's super deep because part of God is stuff, but action itself is also God. And maybe the greater part of God, action, being, doing. But I have a fun little tale about how I've just been seeing God the wrong way. I think sometimes we pray my whole life, you talk to God, you do this or that. But in my meditations the other day, I really sat with this feeling that if everything is God, as the ancients say, especially action, what I am even feeling now is God. And if I see every moment is God, I feel myself coming closer to him. It's very strange, right? Because sometimes you think you have to talk, he has to answer. Or like, I'm not, you're in a bad state. You're like, I'm not really feeling God right now. What is this? But he's there, but maybe teaching you a lesson that you're not ready to hear.
This is kind of like an idea of like God is the earth and we're growing on it, like on its back, kind of like being a part of it.
Oh, Poe is on it today. Yeah, so
separate
true.
from it.
Why do we always think that we're so separate, when we're better than the animals, we're better than this? No, it's like, oh, those are the inferior energies that we are it, but the superior energies is the action being a part of it. I think that's super cool.
And what I hear you saying is God is the universe.
Dare it.
And I'm a part of it and I'm in it. So this situation would be, and the crazy part is every McDonald's bathroom is also part of that God.
Unfortunately.
The ugliest places.
Yeah,
Even the Trump advertisement is part of the universe of God.
Yeah, right.
It's all crazy.
Which brings us to our first sponsor of the day, Ancient Burgers. You're going to want Ancient Burgers. They're delicious, juicy, from locally sourced meats. And we're passing the savings on to you. So use promo code AncientAss for 15% off your next purchase. And you're going to love the way you look, I guarantee it. Now back to the show. These two natures, spiritual and material, are the source of birth. Now really listen. Know that I am the source of everything created, manifested, and destroyed. Now that's sort of a shout out to Krishna, Vishnu, and Shiva, the beginning, middle, and end, the creator, preserver, and the destructor, if you guys know anything about that. But even more interesting is once the spiritual and the material come together, birth, reality, life. So there's maybe the four elements that Evan was saying, earth, wind, water, fire, and then the ego, intellect, mind, and
Heart?
ether, ethereal, however you want to say it.
This must be the DNA. Because this is kind of the combination of elements. If the ancients knew it, it's kind of like the scientists were late to figure it out. The DNA is only made up of certain elements, and this is kind of like a spiritual enlightenment version of this.
That's cool. I like it. Yeah, I've never really seen it this way. It was a cool way of looking at things that sometimes we think what came first, the chicken or the egg, maybe what is consciousness? Was there life before consciousness? And this is kind of getting into a deeper aspect of that. And it's straight up telling us that before birth itself was the physical world, and the spiritual world. And when those two things collided, then humanity, then birth occurred.
It's as if we carry a piece of both. And that we're kind of living between two realms.
Oh, you're being deep today.
Because we are made of dead, but yet we are filled with the breath.
Man,
The
that
breath.
breath alive.
Which is all the four spiritual ones you were talking about.
Hell
and
yeah.
maybe the breath is the ether
Oh,
itself. Maybe
man,
that is the breath.
Poach, you are on an ancient roll today. What's
and my
going
ancient
on?
coffee.
Damn, he said, I got to take a sip of my ancient coffee. Now, a word from our sponsor, Ancient Coffee.
Until today, I never thought of human beings as deriving from the earth element. I never thought of it that way. That's pretty crazy.
The earth, yeah. It's like, well, you just said it yourself. God crafted Adam out of dust.
The clay.
The clay, the dirt.
The lowest.
He
the
breathed
lowest of
into
things.
the clay.
Briefed into the clay. Foge has been in the islands. That's why he's super deep now these days.
Breathed in.
I breathed in.
Just like a side tangent here, I just think it's funny that no one's willing to say it anymore, but the Bible, Genesis, God made Adam. Adam made Eve. Eve was tempted by the serpent. That means the biggest challenge in this world for woman is the devil. Sometimes people could think that the woman is the devil, but I think the biggest challenge for the woman is the devil. But the biggest challenge for man is the woman. And the biggest challenge for God is probably man too. Oh my God.
He's doing it again.
He's doing it again. He's listening to the women. And it's this chain of blame. And I'm like, wow, that became really clear to me the other day. And I'm like, how true that is.
But then who is looking at God?
Yeah. Oh my God. Nothing is superior to me. I am the string on which the pearls are strung. He holds it all together. Is it also implying that the pearls are the beauteous part of nature?
But they'd be nothing without the string.
Yeah. They'd just be floating little planets.
This is bringing it almost too simple. I almost hate this line of the pearls because it's too simple.
He's like, I'm being too ancient today. I need to get more deep.
It's like if he said that he's like the interior of some kind of grand design, but just pearls on the string. It's such a simple analogy. I almost don't like it.
Yeah, I suppose I'll defend it in saying, maybe humans are too stupid to understand it in many other
so they
ways.
had to make it very easy.
You know, it's like, all right, bro. They've been talking all day. Oh, how about this?
They're writing this for ancient.
God is a string, and the world is pearls,
Like
right?
an angry guru.
Yeah. No,
All right, forget it.
Okay, now go away.
They're writing it for coal miners and ancient farmers.
In that way, I respect it because the common man is the one who really needs God, I think. Especially in modern times, but maybe always. Maybe in ancient times, too. It feels so real. Sometimes we think about, even in game theory, classical thought, that there's like 20% that help the world, 20% that ruin the world, and 60% that just do what everyone else is doing. So if the culture says let's ruin the world, that's by far the majority trying to destroy everything. So if those people had a little sense of God back in their life, and they talk about how all cultures fail, but they fail a lot quicker if they're atheist throughout time. But I just think that's a fun poetic way of seeing it. I think of God as the source of order that speaks to me that God is the reason for it all, kind of like Evan said. Without it, maybe there'd still be balls, the spirit, the physical nature, planets thrown about the solar system. But that's also what I wanted to say to you, Poach. What do you think about this? That, it's a Christian concept that Earth only exists. That the Bible talks about Jesus and God of Earth. That's why many of the Christians are like flat earthers, or like
where's the alien
exist.
Jesus?
Yeah, where's alien Jesus? Or like, would Jesus be the God of aliens too? Wouldn't that be unfair to them that Jesus only came to Earth?
So I don't know if you want to hear the Pope answer.
Sure.
but I think the Pope said if there's aliens, we have to spread the word of Christ
Wow,
to the
Pope.
aliens. I think that was the
These
answer.
Catholics are something else to her. Let me tell you.
I kind of agree with that to a sense. Like, in a way, Jesus was a good example of just how to live.
Yeah.
And then
in
the
general.
aliens wouldn't not benefit from that.
Unless
I think.
on Poge's poop planet he was talking about.
Because it could be part of God's plan for the aliens to get so advanced that they come and find Earth and find Jesus on this ancient
He's
speck of
drawing
dust.
them in.
Yeah.
You're going to want to come here. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's a
Or-
tough one. Comment. Let us know what you think.
I think I would go for the theory that they'd have their own Jesus who lives the same principled life.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that.
I tend to
too.
think
Yeah.
that way too.
Yeah, I'm not with the Pope on this one.
Yeah, right. In that sense, like a lot of Christians might get mad at that. Their own Jesus. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's like
He was, sacrificed in their own way and on their planet.
Yeah.
He had some other death.
it's like pick something. You don't want them to be in our country, but you also don't want them to have their own Jesus. Come on, pick one. Yo, aliens, get out of our world. That's so funny. I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon. I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, and I am the sound in ether and the ability in man. Anything jump out at you?
The sound in ether. Man, what a paradox.
It just reminds us all, I think, right off the bat, that God is not just the bearded guy in the sky. This is really speaking to the layperson today, going toward that point that me and Poge are making there about just maybe what this is. Because remember, the theme of today is wisdom and knowledge. If you're totally retarded, you need to start at step one. You need to say, oh, what is this? Okay. Tell me what God is. He's the taste of water. He's the light of the sun. You can't say it, but you could have poetic phrases that sort of describe it.
I think that because people need to personify God to understand a lot, like you said, Mitch. I'm glad we talked about the pearls on the string being, to the common man, because the common man might just have to relate to someone as a person. Like, there's no other way for them to be like, this is a God, this is a being, this is a power, this is a force. No, it's a guy. Like, that's what I'm used to. I'm used to a guy. I'm going to shake his hand. It's a guy.
Wow, isn't that so
Right?
true?
So it has to be personified in all these religions for most common man to really understand. It has to be looking like a guy that I can look at his face and talk to him.
Wow, that brings up so many deep thoughts. It's so true. It's easier for us to understand even in the West. I was thinking about how like Western religions, even the Greek pantheon, they're always just like dudes. Like Apollo looks like you and me, but is a god. But then in Hindu
lifts a lot.
tradition, he's like a monster demon, big as the universe. They're totally different. So
But
this
he's
is
still
speaking.
like a face. He's still like a creature that you could like understand.
Yeah.
He's like something that you could stand in front of and talk to.
Right.
That has a face and a mouth.
I like that a lot, and the common man would connect to that. They can't handle all this stuff. How many times have you talked to somebody, I know myself, you want to get deep with somebody, but somehow they're just not capable of it.
Right. So how would you even like put into an imagery for someone like a being that is building universes and colliding planets and making ecosystems, right?
It's like a pearl on a string.
It's a guy with a beard.
Yeah, it's a guy with a beard who's like really cool. You like this guy. You're gonna like him a lot.
Maybe
So true.
Maybe the common man is just our nature is to be reactive, so we think God is something separate, like an outer being somewhere in the sky.
Yeah, that's true. What helps us connect to that thing? I swear, I just think about so many times. I'm like, man, but life after death. Oh, some kind of amazing connection. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a genius thought. And someone's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What?
So that's why they have to bring it down here in this one and say that he is the sound of the ether.
Seriously.
He is the
It's
ability.
very important. It
He's
really
everything.
is.
He's everything you hear, everything you do, everything you feel. That's God.
Boom. Right.
Yeah.
That's so true, especially even my realization
Stop thinking
recently
of
in
a
the
man with a
meditation.
beard.
Yeah. Or, if that's all you could do, maybe go for it. But
Invite him in.
why don't we, man? So I like that a lot. Do you guys know about this Om thing? Do you guys know about the history, the ancient Om?
I know this from my aunt because I was just taught that it's it's like the meditation syllable. It's like the easiest one for beginners to learn. It's like for some reason spiritually easy and simple.
Oh, okay.
I always thought it was because it was the most representative of the vibrations of everything around us, and I think that frequency has like a calming effect on the nervous system.
You guys are kind of getting it. You guys got the dermal knowledge of it, but what it really is, if you think about Om, how it's spelled syllabically, is A-U-M. So the ah comes from the back of the throat. Just imagine, think ah comes from back here. Then O is formulated in the mouth, and then is formulated on the lips, right? So it's the traveling of the breath, and it symbolizes the waking world, the dream world, and then the deep sleep world. It's the connection of all of these three things. The Aum.
The living, the dream, and the what?
And then the deep sleep, which is sort of can be seen as the spiritual world, I suppose, where there's stillness and no separateness.
Just
is
making
the deep
sure.
sleep. Yeah, absolutely.
We got spirits in here.
Yeah, that's amazing how that process can be broken down like that into 3 different steps that we've refined.
Right, and isn't that so interesting that there's kind of 3? There's the waking, the dreaming, and then we'll call it the spiritual for now, but like deep sleep, which is sort of where we're in touch with the spiritual. But the sleep world is where the dreams happen, kind of like where they come together too. Almost like dreaming is like the birth. Remember that? We said that it was the material and the spiritual coming together. So this is defining the dream almost as a birth of sorts, because dreams confuse the hell out of me. I don't know about you guys. Sometimes they show the future, sometimes the past, places I've been, places I've never been, distorted versions of it. Dreams really freak me out. Not freak me out, but like intrigue me endlessly when the dreams can tell me a joke, because as we all know, that the essence of a joke is that you can't laugh at the punchline. If you know what the punchline is, you can't do it. It's not possible. The essence of laugh is the surprise. But I find myself often laughing or being surprised with dreams, or sometimes even in lucid dreams, I think something's going to happen. I'm like, all right, this has to happen. I'm visualizing what's going to be around that corner. And it's like totally something different out of left field. Like one thing that comes to mind is I was thinking about this corner is creepy. I'm like, oh my God, there's either going to be demons or like hot bitches. One or the other. One or the other. I kind of hope it's one or the other, you know? And then I turned the corner and it was like a kid I knew in 2nd grade who was just at a computer and waving at me.
Man.
I never thought of him in 20 years.
It's always the most unexpected thing.
Dog, what
of
is
life.
that?
Yeah, you
so
can't-
unexpected.
If you think of it, it definitely won't happen. If you think of it, if you predict it.
What is that? That's so true.
I think that is, maybe it could be a connection to God, but it's basically that dream was telling you that you can't control things like that. Like you can't be that you can't be that egotistical to think you know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
like you
such
can
is
always
life.
be taken by surprise.
The
And
crazy
it's
thing
funny
is
in
that
that way.
It was produced by your own mind. That's the crazy thing. It's like
Supposedly,
you were
right?
you were trying to think of what's around the corner, and your own brain surprised you, and you couldn't know what your own mind was gonna.
Yeah,
do.
but then that's the point too, right? That I kind of want to get, like, is it my own brain,
Right.
or is it maybe a piece of my brain connection? Some people think that the dream world is like its own universe in itself.
Yeah, how'd you fool yourself?
Yeah, because I could see it being my own brain, because it's always people that I know. It's always like sort of similar experiences and knowledge that I have. So I'm like, okay, it's connected to the brain. But could it be fully the brain if I'm so surprised, if I'm surprising myself? And to your point, Boj, if it is just the brain, then there's a whole new part of the brain. I don't know what I'm doing. A whole new part of the brain that's sort of unconnected from the conscious mind. Maybe it's just that
deep
subconscious.
brain.
Yeah, deep brain. It's the M and the Om.
If you're laughing, I'd say that's probably a dream where you're communicating with God, because that's probably, because like you said, when you're in a conscious state awake, you can't laugh at a punchline you already
Can't do
know.
it. Yeah, you physically can't. You can't be afraid. You know, if you know something's coming, you can't laugh if you know the punchline. It's the whole essence of laughter. being spontaneous.
And usually, same thing with, it's impossible to tickle yourself kind of thing, because there's the surprise element to it.
Oh,
you don't know the sensation you're going to get.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're in a dream, I think you are in another realm or something like that.
Yeah, like something is I think that's all I could say for sure, is that something's interacting, whether it be a different part of the mind, a spiritual force, a veiled spiritual force, God. So just very interesting, fun side tangent. So our theme of last week was being the unflickering flame in the wind. Have you done that? I got through like 90% of the week. Real peaceful, I gotta say. I faltered at the end, but I was pretty good. No headaches, no nothing. Being steady with God. I got deep. Comment, let us know. I am the strength of the strong. Oh my God, he's still going. Devoid of passion and desire. And, you know, sometimes I think, well, I'll hold that off. But remember, I just think devoid of passion and desire. You remember when they always used to tell you, follow your passion?
Ooh, and that's the modern interpretation of passion. It usually implies that there's something you're attached to.
Well put. I think a lot of these words get misconstrued sometimes, especially in these modern hippie meanings. Follow your passion. No, I'm not going to follow my passion. You shouldn't do that. Your passion should follow me. Do you guys remember the Gunas?
I remember there were many of them.
The Gunas!
There were many.
No, there were just 3.
Okay.
3 Gunas, my friend. Or talk about the Gunas, which were, if you remember, the Sattva, the Rajas, and the Tamas.
Ah, yes. How could I forget?
Remember this from a few weeks ago? And this is sort of bringing that back a little bit. It's tricky because he's tricking you to answer your question that he is the source of all 3. He's the source of all 3, but also above them at the same time. I suppose that makes sense.
It's almost like there's a better example of how to do good than how we think it is to do good.
Well, let me explain the 3, right? So you guys remember that the Sattva is the goodness, the Rajas is the passion, and then sort of the ignorance is the Tamas. And we decided last time when we were breaking these down that sort of the worst part to be is in the passions, in the middle, the Rajas there. Because obviously goodness is probably where you should be, but if not, don't be lukewarm, as Jesus said. You could be in ignorance, you could be Tamas. You're almost better to be the coal miner who needs to hear about the pearls in the string.
You're teetering back and forth of 2 ways of living kind of thing.
It's really just not honest, I think, in that passion life. You obviously feel one way or the other, but maybe it's not socially acceptable, like we talked about sort of the game theory stuff. It's like, are you helping the world, hurting it? Or are you just that huge chunk in the middle who are just like, I'll do, what are you doing?
I'm tired.
I'm trying to sleep, man. I'll do what everyone else is doing. I'll vote for Kamala. He says that he's the source of all 3, but also above them. So it's kind of like a trick question, but it also makes a lot of sense. If you create something, if you are the father of something, they come from you, but you're not them. They're just sort of your creations. But they could be seen as pieces of you to a certain degree. And he goes on to say, but how do we reach God in that divine state? I want to be part of that. I want to be part of this divinity, right? I want to know. I want to know. This divine energy of mine, consisting of 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. It's difficult, man. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So he's talking about the 3 modes of nature. He's saying, as we recall, the 3 modes of nature are just nature. They're the physical plane. They're life. We're attached to it. God created it, but is also above it. How do we also get above it? It's difficult, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Foolish miscreants are the lowest among mankind. Ooh.
Miscreants.
Whose knowledge is stolen by illusion and accepting of demonic nature. Oh, you gotta have something about that.
Malavoters.
Y'all are garbage.
Let me
get my garbage truck out.
Yeah.
The miscreants hurts hard. Those old insults.
I'm gonna start using that.
Like,
you common miscreant. That really hurts. Ow.
More so because they don't know what it means,
Yeah,
really.
what?
Miscreant.
Sounds like-
Knowledge
bad
stolen
word.
by illusion. They're focusing on these shiny objects of virtue signaling.
Ooh, I like that a lot. Of course, you say that, and my big point is trust the science, dog.
Trust the science.
Trust the science.
Yeah, the shiny
science.
object.
Yeah, very true. Like it's the middle 60%, you know, who blow in the wind, whichever way the wind's blowing. I guess I'll do that too. Oh, Fauci's a scientist. Oh my God, he's got a degree.
No.
It's just so weird. It does irk me. I felt it so many times in my life. There's always this appeal to authority. For some reason, and you could kind of see it, but humanity is so obsessed with this authority. Well, he's a doctor. You know? Oh, well, he's the president. He's got to be a smart guy. Like, it's so weird, and it's always filled with holes.
Where is your credential?
Yeah, where's the credentials?
Where's your source?
And I just think to myself, but then your source is some other source. Then you got your source from some other guy. Where did he get his source? We could go back till the beginning of time. Somebody had to create it.
The administration of sources.
Yeah.
Let me see the source of your source.
Ministry of sources.
And the science people, it's like the ones who use that "it's science" phrase the most don't even know that science is to prove what's right.
Yeah, that's
there
the
is no
weirdest thing
right
of all.
science.
Yeah, very true. So those people just like freak me out because this whole new concept of the NPCs. I heard not new, but I'm sure you guys have heard about the last couple years. NPCs are getting big, and oh my God, they might be real. Holy shit! Like, there's a point to this solipsism. You guys know about that? Like, you're the only thing that exists. The solipsis.
That's like
I've
a new
heard.
trend
It's
going
the only
on.
thing that you could prove. But dude, NPCs, I'm sure there's real people, but like maybe there's only like 10. Just kidding. A very small percentage, but everyone else, like, they don't think for themselves. They've never had original thought. They've never stepped outside themselves, thought about God, philosophy, what it all means, other people. It's so weird. There are a lot of them. So
I'd say more than main characters.
yeah. Oh, by far. Yeah. So
Yeah.
one point in the solipsist book, I hope that's not what it is, but Lord, it's like a dream. Talking about the dreams we had before. Why is it like this? Shouldn't you be real like me? Shouldn't you have original thoughts?
And-
shouldn't you have a soul? Maybe they sold their soul in past life, and Hinduism is correct.
One thing I found in common between NPCs in like a video game and in real life is that they will have repeat phrases every time you see them also.
Oh, yeah. The catchphrases are the worst.
They'll say the same thing, whether consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah. Catchphrases, catch movements. Yeah.
And the catchphrases are usually from movies that everybody's seen.
Yeah. It's not even like unique, or my grandpa used to say it. It's
Yeah.
from the Marvel movies.
Or just anything. I don't
Anything.
know. I can't think of one right now.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. Exactly.
I just always think of the "All Right" by that Southern guy, that actor. I forget his name.
Oh, McConaughey?
Yeah, that guy. I've heard dozens of people say
Need more
that.
cowbell.
Yeah. Yeah, cowbell. Dude, did I tell you
Stuff
guys
like
about
that.
this girl? I won't mention any names, but she was the love of my life.
She had all phrases.
She would only speak in movie quotes.
Oh man.
Like, she was so nice and cute and just a good person, but she couldn't be she could only speak in movie quotes. It
Whoa.
was the weirdest thing. Strange. I wonder if I'll put this up. You know who you are.
Were they good movie quotes?
No. So annoying. I'm like,
Ones that you
yo,
don't
I'm
even
like,
know.
Have a thought. Yeah, especially ones that I don't know.
Like non-common movie
People that
quotes.
watch too much movies are something else.
All Hallmark quotes.
Y'all gotta have a life. But yeah, I just think about hating Trump because he's mean. He's mean. All right, well, will he make your life better? He's not your dad. Stop it, Dad. You're so mean. He's not your, I don't know, teacher. He's the president. He's making laws and he's fighting with Putin so that you guys can have a good life.
You know, the people
it's a
that
leader.
You know, the people that say that he's going to destroy democracy, like that after Trump is going to be like no more elections.
Oh
Like,
my God.
Are you serious? Like half the country is going to make sure that like we're going to have another election. Like how are you going to like stop America? Like he's going to be elected and then there's going to be a president after him. Like get over it. Like,
And he's been president before. by
Yeah,
the way.
like he could have stopped democracy then and he didn't.
And not only that,
Maybe he tried.
I the more I see, the less I know, dude. The more I learn, I realize Taoism is also the way, literally the way, that I have to get rid of all this knowledge in my head because it just causes more pain for me, man. I learn about people in the world and I want to die. So it's like Psychology 101. I don't want it to be as true as it is, but even this year in particular, it has become so strong. He'll get rid of democracy. You're saying the exact thing that you are doing and want to do. He'll weaponize the justice system. You mean like you did? Putting this dude in jail for nothing?
It's all Freudian, like bringing it to the front.
I always call it, my personal phrase has always been Psychology 101. You say things because you're the one doing it, or it's on your mind. That's why you're saying it or you're accusing.
A guilty conscience
A
needs
guilty
no.
You're going to say a phrase and you don't know the end.
Guilty conscience.
Yeah, something about a guilty conscience. I'm sure. But yeah, Psychology 101, like the only reason you would say something in the first place is because it's what you're thinking about, what's on your mind. You're the guilt. It's so strange, man. So, but there's 4 kinds of pious men who render service unto me. What are the 4 kinds? You guys know? The distressed.
What?
The desire of wealth. The inquisitive, my friend. He's inquisitive. And the one who is searching for the knowledge of the absolute. Oh, man. What does this bring to mind?
Man, the elements, of course. Are these combinations of spirits and elements? Like, is inquisitive
Deep.
like earth and mind?
I can't say. Well, that sounds pretty cool.
That's what hit me when I heard this.
So the most logical are the first 2, I'd say. When do you come to God? When you want something. AKA you're distressed, you're in pain, someone's in pain, you come to God. They say distressed.
Some people say, oh my God, thank you, when they're happy. Some people.
It's not part of this list. And that's why I like mine better. You guys remember this? The purist, the hopeful, the agnostic, and the escapist? I came up with this live on the show a few weeks ago.
It was the wheel of belief.
Yeah, I think it's this same exact thing. The purist sort of, I called it that just to fit on our poster. But it's really the fundamentalist. So the fundamentalist is one who's distressed. They only believe in God because the book said I have to do it. Oh my God, I'm gonna die if I don't do it. They're so distressed. They're worried about everything. And then those who desire wealth is just the escapist. They don't care about God. They don't care about life. They just want the money. They want to just suck everything from this existence that they possibly can. The inquisitive, I name the hopeful, one who hopes God exists. He's just inquisitive about it. I'm kind of generally curious. I don't really care too much. I hope there's a God, but which we found out also is probably one of the worst places to be. Again, sitting on the fence. It's kind of like the gunas in the Rajash position. And of course, the true seeker of knowledge was the best one that we decided on our chart. The true seeker of knowledge is like the agnostic. Now, it's a little counterintuitive, but the agnostic goes with the flow. He seeks the knowledge of God. He's thankful, maybe, perhaps. That's why I like my chart better. So one who is agnostic actually has the purest belief, frankly. Agnostic. But I call it the true agnostic, one that isn't distressed by finding out something that they may not like to hear, any number of things. It's the truest follower of God, because as we defined earlier in this, if we're all a part of it, if these are all the elements of nature and existence of God, all you really have to do is be a part of it and not be separate from it, like you guys were mentioning before. The more we think we're separate from it, is being a fake purist, being a fake escapist. This is so deep, guys. Really think about it. To want to escape it in the first place means that you're a part of it. You're already defining that you want to get away. To be pure is kind of just to what I call a fundamentalist is doing the same thing but in the opposite direction. And hopeful is still having your mind being the flickering flame, whereas the agnostic is just at peace, my friend.
And to apply it to your dream from earlier, how you were able to laugh from something that was most likely conjured from your own mind subconsciously, because you at your core would know what can make you laugh, even though you can't decide to laugh at it.
Right.
In the same way, the agnostic is more honest about their disbelief and their belief and their disbelief.
Yeah.
Like they're less surprised by things because they're more willing to realize they're not in control.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. There's an honesty to it.
Would you say that the majority of people that blow your mind are hopeful? The 60% of people that are just wishy-washy?
I think so. I think that's where they lie.
Because they're definitely not purists and agnostic. Well, maybe, yeah, they're not purists and agnostic. Because if they're agnostic, they're actually thinking.
Yeah.
Right? They're actually like considering and trying to find things because they're actually got to the point where they're saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a great
They
great way to
analyzed.
I really enjoy meeting people who have that different spark about them to give off an impression of like, I don't know what's going on here in this life kind of thing.
Oh, aren't
like,
they the most fun dudes?
They are.
too?
Yep. They're the most, you feel your guard is kind of gone down a little bit when you meet those people too.
And it's so sad because you bring to mind that the people that are the most harsh, the people that have the biggest YouTube channels are always the fundamentalists or like the escapists, the doomers. And then the hopefuls are everybody just watching the YouTube shows.
Because the hopefuls want someone that will basically be a purist or escapist.
Yeah.
The hopefuls want purists and escapists to kind of guide them.
Wow, yeah, it's so true. I mean, back in the day, there's so many people, there's like, do they give me hope or do they give me a strict regimen of what I have to do to find God? I need to do something.
The agnostics make them uneasy because they're like questioning things. And
and just kind of cool about it and happy. It's like, those are the worst.
Yeah. They freak the hopefuls out because they're calm and not sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think about it. And then women hate that too, because especially the ones you see on the Miami streets. It's just like they really want you to be attached to reality. They want you to have a good job. They want to show you off. They want you to have a lot of money. They need you to be attached to the world. And you could see why Satan whispers to the woman, because she needs to be attached to the world for childbearing, and it needs to be physical. You need to have a man. But that's why the agnostic people tend to be like monks and sort of away from that thing. But I had this fun thought I was telling Evan about the other week about how women too really need to show off their man. They need the other girls to be jealous. And this is something that I don't hear the red pill community talk about a lot, is that as a man, I don't know about you guys, I don't think a man ever wanted to show off his girl.
Or be shown off, maybe.
I think it's coming from the girl that wants it.
He just wanted a nice, loyal woman to be by his side and really just stay in the home. But yeah, it's another bastardization of women thinking what it's like to be men, psychology 101, and like wanting to show that off to be top dog. That should never be the case. That was never how it was. So I just don't hear anybody talking about that really. But I had never felt the need to like show off my girl. I just want a nice one.
Yeah, I don't think a guy would. I think it's just coming from like the female side. Like she's like, oh, take me out. I want people to see me with you. You know, it's like that. You don't want people to see her with you. It's the opposite. She wants people to see you with her.
Isn't that weird? Little whispering of the devil. It's very crazy.
And we treat them so differently than we would like a nice watch or like some nice shoes or something like that. We show them off in different ways, but for the woman, we don't want to show off at all. Yeah. Like it's a different kind of treasure, if you will.
Yeah, I can see that. So of these, the wise one who was full of knowledge is the best. There we go, the true agnostic. For I am very dear to him, and he is very dear to me. Agreed. I have the note here is agreed that the true agnostic is the best. That's what we have agreed the last show, and that's what we're going towards. But so let me read a little bit one here so we could get closer to the end. This is just a little paragraph that I think might illuminate you. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulation of worship according to their own nature. So this is world religion, right? God's lowercase g versus uppercase G. What do you guys think about that?
Wow.
Worship according to their own nature. I mean, frankly, right off the bat, that says to me, you think you are God.
Yeah, it's amazing because these texts predate all of our Western religions, and we did exactly what these texts say not to do.
Damn, worshiping gods that are basically good for what you want them to be, who you are.
This is like if we were to make gods in modern day, what would the gods be?
Oh, there it is, exactly.
Like what would we make as like there would be like a god of like lust, a god of gluttony, a god of IT, cell phone.
God of IT, fix my computer.
I need more RAM.
I need more RAM.
So this one is really right in that sense. Correct that the society would create what's beneficial to them.
That's so perfect. Because if God is dead right now, so Nietzsche stated, we would create new gods, which we kind of have. Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, like we have new gods. I wish there was a god of IT. I'm having trouble. But so we got another little paragraph here that's pretty fun. It's going to explain it deeper. As soon as one desires to worship the demigods, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to seek some particular deity. Remember that. Endowed with such a faith, he seeks favors of a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and the fruits are limited and temporary. Unintelligent men who know me not think that I have assumed this form and personality. Man!
Wow. A lot to say, but I hear fruits of illusion from these demigods.
And I love this too because I think people think this way logically. I think it is really hard for the coal miner to say God of the universe. Like God of it, because it's tough.
You mean
for
God
me
of coal?
You mean God of coal?
You mean God of shovels?
Yes,
that's all we know.
Stuff that's more appropriate to their life. And then maybe if I say, yeah, the God of coal, okay, he works for the God of the universe. They're like, okay, gotcha.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, so it's very interesting how that God, capital G, will sort of help you out in your worship for the demigod. This chapter seems to be for those who are uninitiated. Frankly, it's really helping you get to that point, which is a great episode for you guys in Ancient Wisdom.
Man, so is a demigod kind of a stepping stone god?
I think so.
Or is it a bad direction stepping stone?
This might be the deepest part yet that I can't really wrap my head around, because he's saying that the unintelligent men who know me not will think that this is me, which is like constant throughout history. Molech, all these little gods who you worship, but it's not me. It's like maybe an emissary of me. Maybe I have given him power. I will even strengthen your faith to worship this one, because maybe it's like a God light edition. It'll teach you how to sort of do that because you're too dumb or unintelligent to really realize the full picture.
It will teach you a lesson, but maybe it'll take you the hard way.
Yeah.
Like it will bring you back to God if you follow this demigod, but he's a demigod, so he's going to have some fun.
Their fruits are limited and temporary. Yeah. You will get a little something from it, but it almost seems like the history of demons and stuff too. But he's saying it's okay. Maybe demons are something different. So we'll finish off chapter 7 here today. O Arjuna, the supreme personality of the Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. Also, I know all living entities, but me, no one knows. Wow. Just like a lot of hard things that, if true, are very interesting. That God knows everything as well as is everything. Okay, that's what people say. Tend to believe it, okay. But also, I know all living entities, but no one knows me. Huh? No one can know God? Bo, do you remember when Krishna said, I will finally make things clear, the first line of this chapter?
Oh, yeah. I don't think that has happened at all. Yeah.
And then he says,
So fucking
I
confused.
know all living entities, but no one knows me is the last line. So you didn't answer much after all.
He's
You
like,
were
"Is it
right.
clear?" I am like so confused. He gave me many rules, but not too much clarity.
We got to the bottom of it.
But I think we got to the bottom of it. Let's douse our ancient confusion with another form of ancient knowledge called Mitch Translates the Tao. The Tao 47. Know the world without going outside. See the divine Tao without looking out the window. For the more I see, the less I know. The holy man travels not, and yet knows. Sees not, and yet it is clear. Acts not, and yet it is done. One of the shortest ones in recent history. What do you think?
But full of the most wisdom.
Damn, ain't that how it goes? Ain't that how it goes? It's sort of telling you. I think sometimes they say, you don't need to travel the world to know. This is saying don't travel the world.
It's just saying don't go anywhere.
Don't even do it.
Or don't know, even.
Oh, deep. I like that.
Don't even try to think about it.
Yeah, don't even try. Why are you trying? Why are you going? One only goes to seek. So don't seek. You're here. You don't have to look out the window to know.
You're already flaming.
Yeah,
holy
you already
man-
flaming, baby.
You're
The
not
holy
firing.
man the holy man needs not to even seek.
Yep. He travels not, and yet he knows. He sees not, yet it is clear. Acts not, yet it is done. Or, also translated as he is successful in his endeavors to whatever that is.
Does traveling really teach you anything, or does it show you things?
It shows me the problem with the world anyway, why people think the way they do, which I don't really even need, but I just think about these women who are like, I love to travel.
That's all I could think of, too. It's
Yeah.
just like, it's not intended to make you wiser, and you don't go there to learn culture or anything
Yeah, that's
like
another
that.
thing too. They'll play like they're learning ancient traditions. They're just taking pictures at the temple, at the Tower of Pizza, and at the
It's just to meet Vincenzo and his
yeah.
crew of Italians.
It's all BS. It's
Yeah.
all in the mind, dude. Let it all go.
Plus,
We'll
it
be
says
better
right
off.
here that you can see the Tao without looking out the window. You don't even have to look out the window to gain the knowledge.
Let alone leave home. Yeah.
Let alone go to a different country and post all the
Seriously.
pictures.
Yeah. And then, it's very important to enlightenment to post the pictures and let everyone know you're now
And
enlightened.
the more likes
I am
is the
cultured.
Tao.
More likes, the more Tao you have, the closer to enlightenment you become. And I hope you've been closer to enlightenment with today's episode 66 of Ancient Wisdom. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time.